Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari meets with APC governors over controversial party primaries. People's Democratic Party holds governorship primaries in Lagos State as the party's 2015 flag bearer, Jimmy Agbadu, goes head-to-head with Adedeji Doherty. Former U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, John Campbell, speaks on President Muhammadu Buhari's chances ahead of the 2019 presidential election. And Western countries accuse Russia's military intelligence service of being behind 4 high-profile cyber attacks. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos and news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. We're talking some more party politics and the primaries and the chaos going on in the country at the moment. Legal practitioner Chima Naji joins me now on the news at 10. Thanks for being here. I know for many it's been a bit confusing what's been going on. I mean, these are just primaries, foretaste perhaps of what will happen in 2019, and there appears to be a lot of rancor in these primaries. What's responsible for this?
Thank you for having me. Quite frankly, primaries, as the word goes, are primaries. But in this climb, they have lost their primacy, in the sense that so much acrimony, so much shenanigans, so much fraud, even by those who are entrusted the responsibility of overseeing a smooth operation of that particular process. And it cuts across parties because there's so much hunger, no employment, there are so few resources. Everybody is chasing the very few resources available to grab power, to have unlimited and unrestrained access to national tilt. Since that has become the only way you can just do anything you like. And even though there is the touting of corruption, anti-corruption and all that, you can find that even in the APC that is fighting corruption, corruption has been consolidated in the primaries. And you can see that it is happening mostly in 2 parties. The main opposition, PDP, and the ruling party, simply because they have, rebuttable presumptions that these parties are likely to get access to power. The one that is still there may retain, then the main opposition may take over. But the other smaller parties, if I say one man's away, if you say you want to be president, okay, go ahead. There's no problem with them. So you see, the jostling is not so much about service. It is about what the individuals and perhaps the group of the individuals can do for themselves.
Yeah, and sadly so, especially in the All Progressives Congress, the ruling party, which is supposed to set an example, for other political parties in the country.
The fight there is more internecine because the chances of becoming, the perception that the chances of becoming what you have been elected for at the primary level seem to be high in their own perception. So all you need to do is to leave your bag with the president and come down to the state and lord it over everybody.
So how do these parties then manage the crisis before the elections? And do you think that they can? Or, I mean, this will continue until 2019. We'll still be talking party politics until it's time to go to the elections.
It may not be easy to manage, but some people can be beaten to line.
How so?
The feeling the sense of loss. Don't forget that people spend money. And it's a winner-take-all arrangement. So if you are not assured by the powers that be that perhaps if the general election is won that you'll be compensated, you will carry that acrimony and even possibly work against the candidate that has, quote and unquote, won the primary. So it's going to be very difficult to manage it in such a manner that everybody feel assuaged. You only see a headmaster kind of arrangement where the people are beaten to line or you are sent out of the party. So there's not going to be any effort at an adroit political engineering that will bring everybody together in some kind of camaraderie kind of attitude. Okay, you won, we support you. They can vaunt it on television, but we will see.
Well, it really sounds like a long shot, but hopefully that will happen before the elections. Mr. Chimandeji, pleasure to have you here on the News at 10.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again.
My pleasure.
To legal matters now, the National Judicial Council has recommended the dismissal of 2 judges, Justice Rita Ofili Ajumogobia of the Federal High Court and Justice James Agbadu Fishim of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria. In a statement, the council states that Justice Ofili Ajumogobia was recommended to President Muhammadu Buhari for removal after allegations of misconduct leveled against her had been investigated by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Some of the findings include funds lodged by several personalities into various accounts belonging to the judge and an ex parte communication between the judge and a senior advocate in Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Obla, on a matter pending before her. Justice Agbadu Fishim, on the other hand, was recommended for dismissal following an EFCC investigation into allegations that he received various sums of money from litigants and lawyers and some influential Nigerians that had cases before him. The monies were allegedly collected under false pretense that he was bereaved or that there was delay in the payment of his salary. According to the statement, Justices Ofili Ajumogobia and Agbadu Fishim have been suspended with immediate effect, pending their removal from office by the President. Let's go on to Abuja now for more on the News at 10 with Gloria Umezuke. Hi, Gloria.
Hello, Amarachi. 19 people are feared killed in Arere village of Basa local government area of Plateau State by armed bandits. The gunmen were said to have attacked the village on Wednesday night and shot the victims while they were asleep. According to the residents, security operatives did not arrive at the scene of the incident early.
Abandoned after iron ore mining. This pond in Duradu, just south local government area of Plateau State, appears to have more deposits, but it's not iron ore. This bus, alongside the driver, was declared missing in June this year. And while the search continues for the driver, the vehicle is successfully pulled out. What originally began as a search and rescue operation for retired Army Chief Major General Idris Alkali has now led to the discovery of 3 vehicles, but it appears there's more revelations to come.
The local divers that we employed for these services, they have confirmed to us there are 3 other vehicles which we will all pull out one after the other. The probability is that there are also more other things underneath the belly of the water, but we'll get to the bottom of it.
Members of the community had earlier protested against the presence of the army and the draining of the pond, which they believe is sacred. The army responds to their concerns.
There's nothing for them to fear. However, I've said it, that we have recovered the vehicle. We still have the body or himself alive. So we have been asked to get him dead or alive. The community can help us to tell us where he is or where he has been kept, or if he's dead, to show his body. But we are certainly going to look for him, the general.
Elsewhere, at the Operation Safe Haven headquarters in the capital city Jos, suspects are being paraded in connection with the renewed violence in some parts of the state capital.
We arrested a total of 72 youths whom they were profiled according to their level of culpability, and those that were not found to be entirely involved in it have been released. And we present to you behind me standing some other youths, total of 30 of them, who were arrested on various offenses, and they've all also confessed to having taken part.
Although relative peace is said to be returning to the affected areas, the dawn-to-dusk curfew imposed by the Plateau State government remains in force.
It's the turn of the health sector tonight as we conclude our series on Nigeria at 58. Aside from its achievement in cutting down on polio cases, guinea worm eradication and relatively better health performance indicators, stakeholders in the sector agree that a lot more needs to be done to make Nigeria's health system deliver effective, efficient and affordable health services to the teeming population. Our health correspondent, Yomi Otaigbe, reports.
Some of the medical institutions and facilities in Nigeria predates the country's independence in 1960. However, despite improvement in some of the infrastructure and expanded medical services, human and material resources, particularly cutting-edge equipment, remain inadequate. For those who were around before or few years after Nigeria's independence, the experience of the country's health system is one that is nostalgic.
When I was in the university at that time, under 12, children who are under 12, and pregnant women, those who have cancer, those who have tuberculosis, they were receiving treatment free in this country. At that time, the health system was so good that some of our teachers were from developed countries. UK, the Canada, Australia, they were teachers. And they were comfortable here to teach here. And even those of our resident doctors who will go on 1 year abroad then were coming back home because our system here was good enough to take care of them. Even the pay was comparable, and therefore they had no need to stay over there.
The pace of growth and development in Nigeria's health sector is at variance with the country's growing population. With an estimated 198 million people, the ratio of 1 doctor to 600 people recommended by the World Health Organization is far from being achieved, as it is said that there are just about 45,000 medical doctors practicing in the country.
You see a state build a big general hospital and employ only 1 doctor there. How is it going to cope, for God's sake? So, employment opportunity is not even there for the doctors. The government has refused to employ doctors who we are training, and yet we are not enough.
1 in 15 Nigerian children die before reaching age 1, and 1 in 8 do not survive their 5th birthday. Maternal mortality ratio is put at 576 per 100,000 live births, while only 25% of children aged 12 to 23 months get full immunization.
What we have done is to put in place measures that will now begin to reverse this trend in terms of intense programming, declaring a state of emergency around the number of unimmunized, some 4.3 million kids unimmunized across the country.
In the Western world, medical research plays a major role in the formulation of health policies and the control and prevention of diseases. The question to ask is, how much of medical researches are being carried out by Nigerian researchers in the country?
In the past, the Institute was involved in surveillance of yellow fever, when we used to have frequent outbreaks of the disease. The first HIV disease in Nigeria was diagnosed at the institute. We do have pockets of data from different parts of the country done by different researchers in different universities in Nigeria. And that cannot be taken for national data. It's a weakness in the system, and we need to try and close that gap.
Closing the gaps in Nigeria's healthcare system should be a priority for all.
In the healthcare system, there is a lot of disharmony among the team. So they are adding more to the problem within the healthcare system. Government, on their own part, needs to prioritize health.
The focal points of healthcare delivery in many countries of the world include safety, effectiveness, efficiency, and patient-centered care. Nigerians are looking forward to an improved healthcare system, and this can happen based on political will, upgrade of funding at all levels, and a more dedicated health workforce. Yomi Otaibo reporting for Channels Television News.
When the News at 10 returns, we'll continue our focus on the country's 58th independence anniversary, this time on the health sector, and I'll be joined by the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale. That's after the break. Join us again.